All right, guys, we got a comparison today. The 2018 BMW 230i with a track handling package that has been lightly modified by Nathan against the 2016 BMW 228i, also with the track handling package. These are both the F22 generation. And today we're answering which one is going to give you a better driving experience out here on the canyons. Let's say you're budget conscious. You don't want to go full M2. You want something that's lighter. You want something that is from the prior generation, because let's be real, the modern 2 Series is quite numb. Which one are you better off with? And if you're budget conscious, each of these is going to run you closer to 20K, which is a lot easier to swallow than going for a newer, higher trim 2 Series. This 230i is powered by the B48 engine. That's a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 248 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. Whereas the 228i is powered by the older N20 engine. That's also a 2-liter inline-4 that's turbocharged, making 240 horsepower, 255 pound-feet of torque. Now that 228i is about 90 pounds lighter at 3,260 pounds, whereas this 230i is around 3,350 pounds. We have an open diff here on the 230i, but you do get brake vectoring. The track handling package gives you the M240i auxiliary radiators, brakes, EDC, and variable ratio steering. The owner added a bird suspension kit, which includes iBox springs, revalved Bilstein monotune dampers, 10% stiffer spring rate and compression damping, and a significantly reduced rebound damping. A little bit more understeer bias. They wanted to tune this more for B-roll stability. And since last time, he's added 12mm spacers to the front to reduce the scrub radius, also changed the tires to these Conti Sport contacts, and added Carbotech brake pads. And market value for these is going to be around 15 to 20K. Nathan is a very tall boy, so part of the reason he went with this car is simply how much space you have in the interior, and it's comfortable. I'm also on the taller side. He did add this steering wheel spacer. I'm not as tall as him, but at 6'1", the ergonomics here feel excellent. I love the steering wheel spacer. Definitely helps you not have to stretch your arms all the way out. And by holding this button for 5 seconds, we are going to be getting into DSC off mode, which keeps the steering and throttle in comfort. I remember this car, and I very much like this car. The first thing that's sticking out to me is actually the steering. It is different with the tires and the spacers. You have less of a transition from being on center to then turning. It's seamless, actually. I think that's in part due to reducing the scrub radius. But shockingly, despite this being E-Pass, you do get a little bit of feedback. Very light steering though. Let's actually go into sport mode. Sport Plus, there we go. Yeah, that little bit extra heft, it's still very light, but it makes it feel more natural when you're driving on the canyons. You want a little bit of something to push against. When it's too light, it feels unnatural and actually reduces confidence. Suspension here is on the softer side, but really optimized for those bumpy British back roads. On some of the larger bumps, you get a bit of excess motion, a bit underdamped, but I think it's striking a pretty good balance of giving you comfort and not having the car feel so compromised when you start pushing it. B48 engine is not nearly as special as the B58. That sound is nothing to write home about, but it gets the job done. And on a car that weighs around 3,300 pounds, it feels adequate. Not fast, but adequate. All the way up to 7K RPM. brakes have this nice increased solidity to them, although they are quite loud. Heel toe is a cinch. Nice, easy ergonomics and good throttle response. Dude, I'm actually really surprised by the steering. It feels pretty natural. And you actually get a little bit of feedback. Again, the bar is not very high for a modern BMW, so don't get me wrong, this is no Lotus Elise, but it still feels better than I was expecting. My phone is falling out of my pockets. Let's put that right there. Ooh, getting a bit of understeer at the front. We got McPherson strut in the front, multi-link in the rear. Pretty agile feeling car, and that's one of the benefits of going with the B48 engine over a B58, right? You have only 4 cylinders in the front, you save some weight, and it's eager to then change direction. And I've reviewed 6-cylinder 2 Series on the channel before, and you do feel a bit of a penalty with regards to front end agility and turn in when you go 6-cylinder and that added weight. Back to DSC off mode. There we go. You can actually get increased feedback in this mode because when you go to Sport Plus, it weightens up the steering, but the contrast between no feedback and feedback is reduced because you have a heavier weight. So actually going into this lighter mode gives you slightly more feedback, interestingly. Handles this weight very well. Nice, agile, nimble feeling car. That's why you don't cross the double yellows. But whereas the 228i is automatic, here we have a manual, and I actually don't mind it. You got a little bit of rubberiness, longer throws, but it's still a pleasant manual to use. Bit of rev hang, quite a bit of rev hang, look at that. This car has such an interesting vibe to it. It is more relaxed with a sporty twist. Like, you have these longer throws, they're lower effort, very light. The steering is very light. Even the pedals, they have a good amount of travel. So you have this more casual, relaxed vibe to the inputs and to the way it drives with a bit of that sporty twist. And now it's time for the 228i. This 2016 228i, also with the track handling package, has taken a different approach. Now this is the pre-LCI, so before the facelift, and the prior example was post-facelift. And this one again is powered by the N20 engine. Actually, it's the N26 because of California emissions and such, but it's a 2-liter turbo inline-4, 240 horsepower, 255 pound-feet of torque, 3,260 pounds. But the old original engine actually blew due to oil starvation. I believe it was on track, and the owner has now replaced the engine with a brand new unit. Only has about 2,500 miles on it. And again, with the track handling package, we have M adaptive suspension, variable sport steering, M sport brakes, Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires, and 18-inch light alloy wheels. Although the owner has replaced those tires with PS4S, 225 front, 245 section width rear. Now in terms of mods, we have the F80 M3's lower control arms and truss arms in the front, Dinan Shockware, it's like tuning software for the adaptive dampers, brake lines, brake fluid, and Ferodo DS2500 pads. And this one, of course, is mated to the ZF Auto 8-speed. Ho ho! GT4 RS, very nice. Efren, the owner of this car, is also taller. We're able to get it into a nice ergonomic position here. And we're going to start off here in comfort. First impression, the car's instantly stiffer than the prior example, even in comfort mode. We have the stock springs. And what that translates to is greater immediacy with your inputs at the front end. Still feels very agile. In fact, more so. Part of that is the 100 pounds of weight savings. And part of that is the stiffer suspension. Let's go up into Sport Plus now. Ooh, liking the brake feel. Nice and solid. Already this car feels a bit sportier than the 230i, interestingly. Oh, auto upshifting for me, around 6,500. We have a lower red line. This car is giving me greater confidence as we chase this 1 Series that's been track prepped. The ZF 8-speed made it to this N26 engine, decently quick. Downshift's can be a little bit sluggish, like right there. It's never been quite as good with the four cylinders versus the 6 cylinders, the ZF 8-speed. Wow, I'm actually really surprised right now. I wasn't expecting this. This takes the 2 Series and makes it feel 1 or 2 steps in the direction of being more focused and sporty. You no longer have the long throws of the manual transmission. You just have a fast torque converter instead with nice paddles. You know, these are like nice short throws and crisp. Let's give you a pull. Even in manual mode, it will upshift for you. Now the steering here, it has that same characteristic in the BMW steering where you have right off center, it's lighter, and then it starts biting up after you add 3-4 degrees of steering input, which isn't bad. It is slightly less natural though, right? I want something that is seamless as you go from center to putting input. Neither of these cars really have slop though. They're pretty precise. Now brakes are feeling great. Getting a bit more feedback compared to the other car. And also I don't have the loud squeal of the Carbotech. Oh yeah, getting a little bit of rotation. Okay. Playful. Same exact point where we got understeer in the last car. Same strut and multi-link front to rear. I was hoping to get a bit more rotation on throttle there. Didn't quite get what I was hoping for. Remember, we have an open diff, so maybe I was hoping for something that I shouldn't have. Wow, I'm really surprised though. These cars feel quite a bit different and they feel like they're optimized for 2 very different things. I would feel much more comfortable taking this car on track, and it gives me this level of confidence to push it because even though the steering has slightly less communication and is slightly less natural, I'm still getting a little bit of feedback through the wheel. I guess this generation of 2 Series gave you something unlike the current gen. But really where more of that confidence comes from is just the stiffer suspension. These adaptive dampers with the Dinan Shockware, even in the sport mode, they're not punishing on the stroke, but they're far stiffer. The car feels more planted, and as you give it an input, it sets quicker, transmits that information through the chassis quicker too. You actually get better chassis feel since it's not as soft and wallowy as the Birds. The Birds is like really optimized for bombing bumpy canyon roads, And here you are trading off a little bit of comfort. But wow, the confidence with that and the brakes is substantial. And I was actually expecting myself to like the 230 more simply because it's manual, right? But this ZF 8-speed auto is doing the job good enough such that it doesn't bother me. Would I like a manual? Yeah, I personally enjoy rolling my own gears, doing my own heel toe. Let's actually go back into comfort with DSE off, because I wonder how the steering compares. There we go. Yep, same thing here. When you go to comfort with DSE off, you actually get more steering feedback. Yeah, actually now I would say that the steering feedback is quite comparable. A little bit heavier in this car compared to the prior example, but both quite direct. Both have decent levels of feedback for E-Pass. Let's give you another pull. Oh, interesting. So now it'll hold the gear. So earlier it was upshifting, I guess because DSE wasn't fully off. All the little choices they make with these things are hard to keep track of between vehicles. But I guess when you have DSE off, it'll actually hold your gear in manual mode. Whereas it won't do that if you're in Sport Plus with DSE only partially there. So I'm still really impressed by these cars because for 15 to 20K, you get really great driving dynamics and fun. I would like an LSD. I think what the owner has done here, even with the changes to the front suspension and the shockware, has really elevated this and made this feel sharper, more dynamic, more confidence-inspiring in the canyons. Now, both of these are modified. That does not have the original suspension, right? So I'm not sure how these compare to stock, but I really like what Efren has done here because it feels excellent on a bumpy canyon road. And it goes to show you how different philosophies and different approaches to how you modify a car can give you significantly different feel. I mean, these cars on paper are far more similar than different. And the engine here, you would think that this engine is more compromised, right? I mean, it has the oil starvation issue. It makes a little bit less horsepower, a little bit less torque, but this actually feels peppy because you have a shorter gear ratios with the 8-speed. And you also have a fresh engine that only has 2,500 miles on it. So these things all come into play. It's not just about the spec sheet. It's the other factors as well, combined with how you set it up. And a very eye-opening experience. My friends, let me know what you think with a comment down below. Big shout out to Nathan and Efren for letting me review their cars. They got in touch by filling out the form at jabalandcars.com. If you want your car reviewed, then visit the website and do the same. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.